Hello everybody, Temi here. I'm back with another plan with me in my Moleskine daily planner. Today we are going to be setting up our December habit tracker and task page. So grab a warm drink, get cozy, and please join me for this monthly setup. My setups are usually very simple. I choose a set of colors to use for the entire month. Then I aim to use this exact same set for the monthly setup as well as every single weekly setup. For the month of December, I'm using 4 different pens, a gold watercolor paint, along with some black fine liners. All of the supplies will be listed in the description below. The first pen is a bright red paint marker from Archer and Olive. It doesn't have a number, but I think it's from either the Warm Fall or the Cool Fall collection. The nib size is 3mm, which actually ends up being a little bit too large for a lot of my setups. I think in the future I might only grab the 0.7mm sizes instead. The second pen is a bright green paint marker from Archer and Olive. It also doesn't have a number, but I think this one is from the Cool Fall collection. The nib size is also 3mm. The third pen is a muted forest green marker and is specifically the Ohuhu number 99. The final pen is a brighter green marker and is the ohuhu number 63. The gold watercolor paint is a coliro watercolor from Fintech. We are using the first mid-range gold from this set. I also use a variety of sakura micron black fine liners in this setup, including the 0.5mm and the 0.2mm. Turning to the actual setup, I took a spare piece of paper from a moleskine cohere journal and taped it next to the first day of the month using a piece of washi tape. This essentially gives me 2 additional pages to play with, one which I will use for the habit trackers and one which I will use for a monthly focus as well as monthly tasks. Setting up the monthly habit trackers first, I begin by making a header for this page. For this header, I decided to do some simple ornaments combined with cursive writing. The first thing I do is write the header trackers in a loose and extended cursive font. Then I draw some very big bauble shapes using the bright red paint pen, the bright green paint pen, and the gold watercolor. While I wait for the paint to dry, I move on to the habit trackers. I typically track some daily habits and some weekly habits. For my daily habits, I write each habit to track in the same loose cursive as the header. Specifically for December, I am going to be tracking exercise, cooking, a certain amount of daily billable hours, vitamins, a 9:30 p.m. sleep time, and a 6 a.m. wake time. I then go in with the bright red and green paint pens to highlight the first letter of each habit. I then use the opposite color paint pen to draw the outer box of the mini calendars. As you can see here, I made a couple of mistakes drawing these boxes, but that's okay. Mistakes are part and parcel of trying to make your own spreads. Because the pens I used are paint pens, it's actually fairly easy to cover up any mistakes so long as the first layer is dried. After the outer box has dried, I go back in with the fine liner end of the number 99 marker to draw inner lines for the mini calendar. After that's done and the paint in the header has dried, I go back to the header to add some details and highlights using the gold watercolor and a 0.2 millimeter black fine liner. In this particular case, for one of the baubles, I decided to do some polka dots. For another one, I decided to do some gold horizontal and vertical lines. Of course, you can decide to do whatever patterns you would like for your baubles. I also decided to add some little gold specks throughout the header for just a little bit more added interest. I also use the 0.2 millimeter black fine liner to add some outlines around each of the mini calendars for a little bit more definition. I then move on to my weekly habits. First, I will write each habit to track in the same loose and extended cursive font as a habit header. For December, I'm going to track hair care, cleaning upstairs, cleaning downstairs, watering my plants, and watering my succulents. I'm going to aim to do a hair treatment every week, clean each floor twice a month, water my plants every week, and water the succulents once a month. I then use the bright red paint marker to draw boxes corresponding to the number of times I want to perform each habit in December. And then we are done with the December Habit Trackers page. Moving now to the monthly focus and tasks page, I first divide the page into a small section for a monthly focus and a larger section for the monthly tasks. For the monthly focus section, I write a header using the same loose and extended cursive font used previously for the habit header. I then highlight the first letter and the month with the bright red paint pen. I'm also adding some little decorations with the red paint pen and the gold watercolor at the bottom right corner of the section. I then create a border for the focus section using the bright green paint pen for a little bit of contrast. After the paint has dried, I outline and add some little details to the decorations using the 0.2 millimeter black fine liner. Generally, I will use this focus area to write 2 or 3 things that I want to focus on doing, or potentially on doing better for the month of December. For the task section, I'm doing something fairly similar, and I'm using the same loose and extended cursive font for the header as used previously. Unfortunately, I accidentally wrote the entire word using the green paint pen. But again, mistakes happen fairly often when you make your own spreads, which might actually say more about me than anything else. So I just wait for the paint to dry and then cover it up using a white Poscal paint pen. I also create some little decorations on the bottom left corner using the green paint pen and the gold watercolor, and I also create a border for the task section using the red paint pen. After the paint has dried, I add some little details to the decorations using the 0.2 millimeter fine liner. also add a rolling monthly task list with the fine liner, with columns representing generally the beginning, middle, and end of December. I will draw a dot in a specific column representing approximately when I want to complete a specific task for the month. I then go in with the light green number 99 marker to color in alternating columns. And then we are done with the December focus and task page. This is also the entire setup. We are done. Quick and simple. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you had a fun and relaxing time with me setting up our December pages. Bye for now.